Hello, everybody. It's about that time. It's about that time, y'all. Well, y'all already know what it is. It's the family reunion, and we are so happy to be back here with you all at the family reunion because y'all know we have a good time here. If this is your first time rocking with us, I just want to say thank you so much because we already know that you could have been anywhere in the world, but you decided to be right here with us, and we truly appreciate that.
Absolutely.
So I would like to go ahead and formally introduce myself. I go by the name of Kesha Kesh.
And it's your boy, Dr. Real, Mr. Motivational. Let's go. Let's get it. I've been gone a month. Let's get it.
Let's go,
Go.
y'all. Let's get it. So, y'all, we got a lot of stuff that we're going to unpack because this is going to go really, really fast. We'll be here with you guys for 30 minutes, but we want to make sure that we get all these details in and all these hot topics. So, let's go ahead and kick it off, shall we, Dr. Real, with the first topic that we're going to go ahead and jump into. And that happened to be with it's Migos,
Yeah, man.
which is
By now,
sad.
I'm sure everybody done heard about Takeoff getting murdered. I think Halloween, going out of Halloween morning to the first of November. It's Cash. I'm so damn tired of this, man.
Yeah.
It's like I've been in hip hop since I was 7.
Hmm.
So that's 79 for me. When it was very simplistic raps, but they were still reporting what was happening around them. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I can understand why the Melly Mels and then was talking about the drug addiction and how New York was in '83, because that's how New York was in '83.
Right.
I can understand how, Public Enemy was talking about fighting the power and all those kind of things because apartheid was happening in South Africa. I understand. We don't say we was actually doing something.
Yeah.
And then soon as we start getting a little money, we start getting stupid.
Yeah.
Then come crack and here the gang life takes off and everything is shoot, kill, nigga, murder, and it's like you don't never hear no country western artists shooting up each other in mama house.
No, no,
Even if
never.
they got problems, they ain't solving it like that.
Not at all.
It's time for hip hop to grow up.
It is. And it's
It's time.
happening so often. But you know what I really think it is? It's one of those things where, and I can't, this is who said it best. Deion Sanders. I was watching a clip and he was talking to his guys because they were actually in Houston the same night or that weekend or whatever that this was going on. And he was so right because the thing about it is this. We don't know how to disconnect. When you reach a certain standard, when you reach a certain level, you have to disconnect yourself. And what happens is that we begin to think like, oh, they're going to look at me like I'm a sellout. Or, especially if I'm from the hood, like you just can't really be connected with certain people. And again, my heart goes out to the family because what I did know, and I like Migos, the group. I went to their concert. Definitely put on a good concert, but they're all related, which is
Yeah,
very heartbreaking. I did
yeah.
not know. So for those of you guys just tuning in again, thank you so much for tuning in with us. We're talking about the tragic loss of Takeoff with Migos. But yeah, Quavo is actually his uncle,
Yeah.
which
He
is his
watches nephew.
mother's brother. Like that's his mother's brother, and Offset is their cousin.
Yeah, he
So
watched he watched his
again,
nephew die. That's
they all have to get together now as a family and just deal with this tragic loss. But if I understood right, Dr. Real, I saw all the people on Facebook blowing up saying, over a dice game, he got money, then someone said, well, he was betting $75,000 or whatever the case may be. But from my understanding, it wasn't actually him that was doing the dice, shooting the dice. It was Quavo, right? They said
right.
that he was actually he was there, at the event, but it wasn't him. So he got hit pretty much by accident.
Yeah, he wasn't the intended target. I've heard conflicting stories. I've seen one where it says somebody in their party shot him by mistake, kind of friendly fire kind of thing. And
Hmm.
then I've seen a reports where they got a guy, they have a person of interest, Houston police have, that was on Jay Prince's son's side of
Yes,
the
that's
game.
right. That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So when it's something like that, we all been to the club where we be in the parking lot and somebody start busting shots. You ain't you ain't too much looking to see where it's coming from. You're trying to get the hell up out of there.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm pretty sure. I think it started out as a scuffle and then it went to gunfire, like always. Nobody want to fight.
Always.
Nobody
Yep.
want to fade no more.
Yeah.
You know, we want to shoot you and murder you versus just taking an ass whooping.
Yeah. And that's the crazy thing about it, and I'm speaking to even Dallas, the local artists here, when you get that fame, it's okay to leave. It's okay to not be here and stay here at home. Come give back to the city, whatever it is you got to do, but it's just some places that you cannot be at that time. You got to go ahead and accept the fact that you're different, because you are. Those people you grew up with, you're not like them anymore. You're different. And just show your respects and keep it moving. Everybody is not meant to go to the top with you, and you have to separate yourself at time. Unfortunately, you got to pick and choose. If you want to stay, then you can't choose that other lifestyle. You got to
Right.
make sure you understand the difference, and that's just
Right.
speaking to artists here in Dallas, everywhere. But at the same time, you got to understand when you done change, when you done leveled up.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. I never understood mentality. I'm gonna make all this money, but like you said, people gonna talk about me, so I'm gonna go back and hang out on the block like I was when I ain't have nothing.
Yeah,
Don't you know there are vultures and snakes everywhere, bro?
absolutely.
You looking like fool now, fam. I ain't got nothing. I haven't done anything to make myself successful, so I'm mad at the world for my failures. I see you, boy, you look like fool.
Yeah,
What's happening? I'm gonna call my man. We about to rob you at the Waffle House.
we got to fix that. We got to fix
Yeah,
that.
it's crazy.
Yeah. So again, RIP to Offset. Takeoff, and just the entire family. I saw a clip of his mom. She was devastated. Just talking about him and just the things that he did. And one thing I did see, and he said that 4 days before he passed away, he was in an interview with someone, and he said, "Give me my flowers now, because I don't want them when I'm no longer here." He said that like 4 days before he passed away. So I saw everybody sharing his stuff, and hopefully, you gave him his flowers, because it's a sad, sad situation.
Yeah, I just said two things I told people yesterday is like, one, there's gonna be somebody gonna post something about y'all weren't no Migos fans. I don't know what y'all on. I'm like, man, just because I wasn't a major fan don't mean I
Mhm.
can't, like, saying RIP this man. Because at the end of the day, he's somebody's son,
He's somebody's son.
somebody's daddy, he's a
Yeah,
cousin, he's a brother, he's a lot of things, and now he ain't here no more over some nonsense.
it's a sad situation.
I said,
Definitely sad.
secondly, I don't hear nobody on here talking about life is short. Oh, if you got beef, man, shut that shit up. Because in 2 weeks, you can be right back to where the hell you was, because Felicia took your bundles, and you be mad about that shit 2 weeks ago.
Not the fun.
Like, stop, man. Like, I hate when someone of fame passes and everybody want to get super over sentimental. Like, you're not going to maintain that energy. You're not going to maintain that. You're going to go, because just, I think Drake said it best, like, you're a hashtag, and 2 weeks later you moved on to the next whatever event it is, and that's true.
Yep, it's true.
You know what I'm saying? It's true, but I like, man, we don't do that. Don't beat them people today. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Please. But rest in peace, like we said from the Power
R.I.P.
podcast. Rest in peace. Whole Quavo and obviously y'all can squash whatever y'all got going on.
I think they
what I mean?
will now. I definitely think they will.
And I understand. Life ain't short. And I said this a million times. Life ain't short. It's our appreciation that is. Life ain't short. You just don't appreciate it.
Facts.
But it is.
All right, everybody. We're going to get on to the next topic, because it is November. And in the month of November, we like to create awareness around diabetes. So if you are tuning in, if you are diabetic, if you know of someone that's diabetic, we would like to first off share these tips, tell you keep up the great work if you're doing what you're needing to do, taking care of yourself, just making sure that you are trying to stay here with us. We sometimes don't pay attention to the signs and things like that, but at the same time, it's great to be knowledgeable of the things to do when those situations occur.
Mm-hmm.
Any tips you would like to provide, Dr.
Absolutely. A lot of people, when it comes to diabetes, it's not a respected disease. And I'm not saying that in any kind of weird way, but it's one of those throwaway diseases, kind of like high blood pressure, that kills people on the daily.
Yes.
But don't get that kind of respect. Like you don't hear about Blue November, but you hear about Pink October for breast cancer. And I'm not knocking or
Right.
saying, trying to compare that because that's not what I'm doing. But the recognition is not there.
Yeah.
Especially when it affects, Hispanics, Black, white. It affects everybody, but we catch it the most. We catch it more.
Yep.
People,
A lot of people don't know at a young age
we
too.
catch it more. Type 2 diabetes is what I have. Type 1 is something that's kind of like you born with that. It's more aggressive diabetes.
Yep.
But type 2 is something that's genetic as well. But people always contribute that to you being overweight and fat.
Right.
But I know people who are not like that are diabetic. They were never like that. So just your pancreas does not do its job anymore. Just plain and simple. So when you go to your annual physical, and if you got any kind of insurance, you should be doing this anyway. Make sure you have the doctor go over your glucose levels and your A1C. That's super important because that's how you're going to know, besides symptoms. Like, for instance, if you start feeling more thirsty than usual, I mean, you're knocking back like mad water and you just seem to have this insatiable thirst, you're checked out. Because if you're drinking that much, what are you going to be doing next? You're going to be frequently urinating, like more than normal.
Yep.
Then you're going to start losing weight when you're not even trying to. You'll start having more yeast infections. Men, you start having skin infections. You start finding weird spots on your skin. If you have any injuries, like you might cut your foot and it takes a long time to heal. The one that did it for me was blurry vision. I was driving down I-35 and couldn't even see the words on the big green signs. That's when I knew something was wrong. I was ignoring other things, but that was the one that like, hey, fool, something ain't right with you. And if you're tired and fatigued all the time, I mean, everybody get tired. There's a difference between being tired and being fatigued.
Yeah. You know what? We have it bad by going by the old remedy of what people look like. And I know that sounds crazy, but sometimes people will stand up in the mirror and look and be like, well, I don't look like I got diabetes, or I don't look like I got high blood pressure. Or, that's why they don't pay attention to the sign, because they're trying to identify a person that they know that may have that disease or whatever the case may be and compare to see if they look like them. And if they don't see that they identify with, they're thinking they don't even got it. Yeah. Baby, little kids can be diabetic. You can be diagnosed. You can be a child and diabetic. And the reason I'm saying this is because we're not just talking to adults. We're even also saying, as an adult, pay attention to your child. Pay attention to the stuff that they're eating. Pay attention to the stuff that the signs and the symptoms that we're saying if your kid is having it. Because just because they're young, you may thinking, oh, they going to the restroom more frequently, or they drinking too much water. Or that could be a sign. That could be a sign.
Or a big one that's missed a lot is when you have that rust looking scab of skin on the back of your neck and it looks like your neck's dirty. That's a huge sign of diabetes in people with color. But a lot of moms, like old school moms, get some bleach out and try to bleach it out. They're thinking you ain't scrubbing your neck good, and then they're scrubbing the kid's neck raw. That's not a problem. Exactly. The problem is you need to take them to the doctor and get a full checkup. Yeah. So pre-diabetes is something that, last time I checked, over 28 million people had pre-diabetes and didn't know it.
20 million people?
28 million.
28 million people, and they didn't know it.
They don't know it. There's a lot of people listening right now.
It can be reversed, right? Well, one can.
If you catch it in pre-diabetes, you can reverse it. Your glucose, if you normal, is less than 100. So if you ever get your glucose tested at the doctors and you're reading your physical results to you, which they don't do that no more, they just hand it to you and here you go. Right. If it's under 100, 80 to 100, you're good. If it's of 100 and 225, you have pre-diabetes. And if it's over 125, you have full-blown diabetes. When I went to the doctor and got my results, my glucose level was 600. I should have been in a diabetic coma.
And you know what, Dr. Real? That's how people find out. And this is what I've learned. This is what usually when people go, well, this is what I heard. Like, I guess because you feel normal, because it's nothing triggering you maybe to make you feel like you feeling different. But because I'm thinking to myself, for a person to go and you get diagnosed and you're like, okay, wow, at this point, I ain't even have a chance to reverse it or stop. You're going to automatically put me on insulin or whatever you have to do. Mm-hmm. But most people say they didn't have no signs. So is it a situation to where it could be triggered just at one time? Because I've heard people say, like even with kidney failure, you could do something like your blood pressure just one day get way too high, and all of a sudden you may experience that. You didn't have a chance to do anything about it. So
Mhm.
with this, a lot of people when they go, it's already because it's too late. Did it get too high? Was it something that you wasn't paying attention to and it was happening over the years? Like what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, it can come like with very light symptoms, but most time, like for me, if I'm sitting here being 100% honest with myself, I knew something wasn't right before
Okay.
my vision got blurry. I mean, I
Okay.
knew I was drinking like water like crazy, and then I was like, damn, I was doing some exercising, but I wasn't exercising to the point where I was losing weight like that. But I was
Okay.
feeling so good, and I was looking, and I felt so good, and I looked good. I was like, oh man, that's what's up. I
You know,
exercise.
I'm popping. You popping.
You know what I'm saying? But then one day I was working at Burlington Coat Factory, and I was to my lunch, and I never ever lay my head on the table in the break room and go to sleep, like ever. And one of my coworkers came to me and was like, "Something been off about you for the past couple of weeks."
Wow.
It's like I didn't want to say nothing to you, but I've never seen you go to sleep, and you were like full blown sleep. So you need to go
Wow.
get yourself checked out. And that very night when we had a conversation, that's when I was driving home, and the exercise I couldn't read I had to like really squint to see what it was saying. I was like, oh man. And I called my doctor, made an emergency appointment, and he ran.
Wow.
I mean, he looked at me when he read those results to me. My A1C was like 11.5. Like I'm talking about, I was at should have been surely in a diabetic coma.
Wow.
Y'all heard me mention A1C really quick. I'm gonna give you what this means. A1C test.
A1C test.
Yes, the A1C test is basically testing your blood sugar level in the past 3 months. Because what happens is if you have a high sugar content, your high sugar diet, your blood gets pretty much infected with sugar. And your
Mhm.
red blood cells are just sitting there like on the lazy river, what I'm saying, just floating around in high sugar content, which obviously is going to be bad for your body if your red blood cells are doing that. Because then you get your nerves attacked and you start having tingling in your fingers, tingling in your toes. Diabetes is the number one cause of blindness in what I'm saying, in this country. It's a leading cause of amputations because people don't respect it. Like, just like high blood pressure is a silent killer, and high blood pressure and diabetes a lot of time go together.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I just want y'all out here listening to us tonight. Use that free physical you get on your insurance. You're paying for it. Use it.
Yeah.
Go ahead and find out what's happening with you. Don't be like the old guard and don't want to go check on yourself.
But you know what? Ask for it. To piggyback off of what Dr. Real is saying, y'all, ask for it. Because sometimes we often think that when we're going to get our physicals and our checkups and things like that, that the doctor's automatically giving these things to us because it's a physical or a test. What I found is that they don't. You have to request these things. And I found that out because one day I was talking about it to with one of my friends, and I was like, you know what? I don't even know if I've ever had a test like that before. And so I talked to my doctor. My doctor was like, well, no, you never requested it. I'm like, what? I thought when I asked for a physical and an annual that it come with it. No, you
Right.
got to specifically ask for it. So those of you all that's listening, make sure that when you're going to get your blood work and things like that, you're asking for these specific tests because they're not automatically just giving them to you. You really have to request and ask for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so just don't play any games. If you know Big Mama had diabetes, then you have a big chance of it being genetically,
Yep.
in you. I thought I hadn't passed the test because my family, the men caught diabetes like in their 30s. But I unfortunately was like the most common people get it in their 40s. And that's why I
Right.
got mine when I was 43. So I've been 7 years dealing with this. Just I know we're in my ass on November 7th. Just wear some blue, no matter what fate, what color, but along with some kind of blue. It's light blue is the color for us, but just wear some blue, represent us, please. And just, encourage anybody around you to go get tested. And it's not a sugar disease. It ain't because you ate too much donuts and all that stuff. So nah, they
Right.
don't help you, but that's not what it's just about.
Right. Make sure you guys checking on your people. Make sure you're checking on yourself and make sure that you're checking on your kids. Look for those signs. All right, y'all. We're going to go ahead and get to the juicy part of the show. And I always say this, y'all. This is the family reunion, damn it. So we got to give our advice. And we're all family here. We're about to read the PowerTeam Love letter. And people depend upon us to give them advice, to give them the what to do's, the what to say's, how to get out of these type of situations, so they trust us. So let's be kind if we can, but we're gonna be real. You know what I'm saying? We're definitely gonna be real. But let's take a look at what some family may be going through that reached out to the power team.
Let's see what's going on.
And this is what it says. This might be more of me finally snapping than petty revenge. I was with a man for 2 years that absolutely beat me and alienated me from everything. Towards the end of our relationship, he started working out of town. One day, I got home from work early to find him at home. When I walked past his Jeep to go into the house, I noticed there was 2 takeaway boxes in the front seat. I was suspicious, so I checked his phone, and I saw that he had spent the previous night and had spent the night with some woman. Only returning home when I had already left for work. At that point, I had had enough. I looked at his Jeep, and I already knew what I had to do. So listen, I don't want to know. That's all I got. I don't want to know what they had to do, because it sounded like it got real. But I definitely know some actions took place.
I bust the windows at your car. That's what it sounds like to me.
That's what it sounds like happened.
But some tires got poked with some knives and some stuff written on the side of it and all that. Yeah.
I want to give my advice. I want to really be real about it. But at the same time, I closed my eyes when I read the letter. I pictured the situation being me, and I ain't gonna even lie. One time I think I bust the windows, but it was a house window. It wasn't a car. I did bust the windows out of a house. But it was my emotions, and that's what made me think about it, because I could have gotten into some serious trouble. A lot of people could have been in trouble. It wouldn't have been a good situation. But when I thought about this, I was in a situation like that before, a long time ago. But it did happen. Dr. Rio, like what advice? This person already said they've had enough. Now I don't know if they leaving, I don't know if it's over, and I don't know if that's it. But 2 things happen. Every action causes for a reaction, and this person reacted. What are your thoughts?
Decisions have consequences, but the thing is, you don't have to be the consequence of somebody else's decision.
Ooh, that's deep.
So what this young lady needs to do, and it's easy to say, if you're, you know what I'm saying, like the part with the physical abuse already for years already kind of tells me what her mentality is. She getting into that burning bed mindset now. It's getting dangerous, and what
it's getting real.
And like he might be unalive soon. He ain't careful, because she has, I feel, that battered woman syndrome coming from her conversation. And this is the thing. There's a lot of people in prison right now because they lost their emotions. They lost their cool for a split second, and now their whole life is over because they couldn't control their emotion. And it's hard. It's hard when you see something like, this man, like number one, he beating you. Number 2, then he cheating on you, and then he being kind of blatant with it too. You know what I'm saying? You leaving the takeout plates and come on, man. You being throwing it in her face. That's a lot for anybody to handle.
Yeah.
So my advice to her is, you already know, you're not in the right place. You know that your love is not being cultivated there. You know that on the inside, but what you fear is the future, because you can't see it. You're scared to move because where you are is familiar. Even if it's a negative thing, it's familiar to you. Don't allow that trauma bond. That's exactly what you're going through. Don't allow that trauma bond to keep you somewhere where you don't get a chance to live life. We just talked about somebody dying, and he probably had plans today.
Yeah.
You're no longer here. So baby, life is short. Yes, but like I said earlier, it is our appreciation. That's the problem. We don't appreciate it.
But you know what? My advice would be this, because I would have to ask a couple of questions, because self accountability matters too.
Yes,
and the communication matters as well. Because to me, he seemed real comfortable to even leave the proof and the evidence there, and you found it. So my advice would be, first off, what was the conversation that was held? For him to do these things and get caught, did y'all ever have a conversation? Because sometimes just because I believe in something, or sometimes just because that person didn't have clear expectations set of what you believe in, they felt that it was okay. So, secondly, if y'all did have that conversation and you've already laid down the rules of what you accept, what you don't accept, what's just a no deal, nothing to discuss, then you already pretty much got your answer, because that person don't give a damn about what you think and what you believe in and about you finding this evidence, because he left it right there in the car.
That's what I'm
Like,
saying.
you don't give a damn. So therefore, was the conversation ever held? Now that you got this information, what are you going to do with it? I will have an honest conversation with him. Let him, because you're thinking it. She already said what she was going to do, but you're still going off of you seeing this and you found out that you went through his phone. There's the evidence as well. So have that conversation, and you stand by your morals and your standards of what you accept and what you don't, and you make your decision.
Yeah,
Whatever
that's why
that
I
is.
say. That's why I have the strongest feeling that it's a trauma bond. And if you have a trauma bond with somebody, you let yourself be done ways that you know you will never ever do. But it's like it's almost like an addiction to drugs almost, because you allow them to give you your highs, and you get that dopamine and oxytocin in your head that goes in because they're giving you praise, and as soon as they see you full of praise, and they're pulling away from you. And then
Somebody's
that
trying to
addiction thing is that back and forth. That addiction is there. You have she hears the voice that's whispering that tell her it's time. But one thing I do know, God will let somebody David and Goliath your behind if he done showed you more than one time you need to leave.
Yeah. And everything goes with a stage and a phase, right? I see the audience, someone put up there, just leave. It's easier said than done, because things that I may have done, the old me, I wouldn't dare do as the mature me.
Really?
So you got to understand where people at in life too. And you can't play with everybody. So whatever she did, I don't know what stage she's at in her life, but you may not get that second chance. So always know your person, always kind of get a feel of where you are mentally, emotionally, and all of that. So
Absolutely.
that's our advice. Thank you so much for sending the letter to us, trusting us, and allowing us to help you and give our thoughts on your situation. Now we have the words of wisdom, and that's on you, Dr. Real, because I think we need them.
Let's go. Just as God brings people into your life, the devil will too.
Mm,
I like to call them fool's gold. You know, the kind that shines so bright until you look deeper and see they're fake and are of no value to you. I mean, no value to you at all. You see, you think there's something, then they're not. Because the Japanese have a phrase that says, people wear three faces. The one you see, the one they show themselves, and then the real one. So it really depends on your discernment. And men, let me come in real close to the screen real quick. We ain't got much time. We have discernment too. We do. We have it. We have the intuition, bro. But you know what it is? It's our ego that blocks out the voice. You know when that girl cheating. You ain't stupid. You feel it just like they do. But the thing is, they acknowledge it, take the notes, and when it's time to give receipts, boy, this shit lower than CVS. This is what I tell you. You'll be able to identify the fake when you embrace reality. And that's my words of wisdom.
ooh, y'all heard it. And that's about as real as it's gonna get. Pay attention, take a picture, write it down, and use it. This has been awesome, you guys. Make sure that you guys are following us. Make sure that you guys are actually, if you don't like to watch the visuals of it, we are on every platform. You can find us on Spotify. You can
Oh,
find us on Amazon. You can find us pretty much on every major platform. But we appreciate you guys engaging with us and rocking with us. Tomorrow night is Steph the Educator. the Essential Pedagogy podcast. She will be on tomorrow night. So make sure you guys are tuned in so y'all can get educated with all the great things that Stephanie have for you all. Also, remember we got Buying and Selling with Bree. That's real estate. That's on Monday nights. And we have the Mamapreneur podcast on Thursdays as well. We have a new show that's going to be starting on Tuesdays. I told you guys about this last time, but I still want to just kind of leave a little teaser out there because it's not starting right now, but it will be twice a month on Tuesday, the first and the third Tuesday. So a lot of great things going on. Make sure you guys stay connected. We really enjoy you all. But until next time, we ain't got to go home, but we definitely got to get the hell up out of here. So we'll see y'all next time. Peace.